What if Giyu Tomioka's decision in the first episode of Demon Slayer had been different? When Giyu decides to spare Nezuko, Tanjiro finds a reason to fight, the hope of saving his sister. However, if Nezuko were eliminated, Tanjiro would be thrown into an abyss of despair. He would end up alone, with no family, which could trigger a deep anger, not only towards Muzan, but against all demons. Unlike the compassionate Tanjiro we know, he would be driven by hatred and revenge, shaping him into a colder and more aggressive character. This immediate pain could even drive him away from the Demon Slayer Corps, as his life purpose would be destroyed. Without the mission to save Nezuko, he might hesitate to become a demon hunter, lacking the motivation to move forward. Losing his sister at the beginning would completely change the essence of his journey, leaving him directionless and with an insurmountable emptiness. Without Nezuko by his side, Tanjiro would transform into a much darker character focused on revenge. In the original plot, his kindness and empathy are shaped by his desire to save his sister and the belief that not all demons are completely lost. However, without this personal connection to a good demon, Tanjiro would lose part of his humanity, leaning towards a much more ruthless approach. His pursuit of justice could easily turn into a quest for vengeance, similar to the path Sanemi Shinazugawa followed after losing his family. Tanjiro would then see demons as enemies to be exterminated without hesitation, not as complex beings worthy of compassion. This would also emotionally distance him from other characters, like Zenitsu and Inosuke, as he would no longer be the compassionate leader who held them together, but rather someone consumed by pain and rage. Furthermore, Tanjiro's lack of empathy would reflect in his interactions with demons to whom, in the original plot, he showed mercy. Throughout the series, we saw Tanjiro offering compassion even to demons who committed atrocities, like the Spider Mother, understanding that many were victims of circumstances beyond their control. Without this experience with Nezuko, he would become merciless, willing to kill without considering the complexities of their stories. This would make him a feared hunter, but a much lonelier one, as his alliances would be based solely on convenience, not on friendship and trust. Giyu Tomioka's decision to eliminate Nezuko would also have significant repercussions within the Demon Slayer Corps, especially among the Hashira. In the original plot, Giyu defied the rules by sparing Nezuko, showing a more flexible view of what is right or wrong, and this opened doors for Tanjiro to be accepted by the Hashira, albeit with initial resistance. However, if Giyu followed the rigid code and killed Nezuko, he would further reinforce his image as a distant, cold, and relentless Hashira. This action would solidify the position of the Hashira that all demons must be exterminated without exception. In the absence of Nezuko, there would be no room for debates about the possibility of demons coexisting with humans, and the Demon Slayer Corps would become even more radical in its approach. This scenario would consolidate a rigid mindset among the hunters, where the only solution would be the complete elimination of all demons. Additionally, Giyu probably wouldn't have the same connection with Tanjiro that we saw develop. In the original plot, Giyu becomes one of Tanjiro's greatest allies precisely because he was the first to see the difference in Nezuko and support his cause. Without this initial compassion, Giyu would remain more distant from Tanjiro, possibly not involving himself as much in his training and growth. This could lead to a lonelier Tanjiro with less support within the organization. Finally, eliminating Nezuko would also affect the role of other Hashira, like Shinobu Kocho, who showed an interest in understanding demons more deeply, seeking a way to contain or cure them. Without Nezuko as evidence that demons can be controlled, Shinobu might completely abandon her vision, becoming as ruthless as the other Hashira. Without Nezuko, the final battle against Muzan Kibutsuji would be devastatingly impacted. Nezuko was a crucial element in the strategy to defeat Muzan, especially due to her immunity to the sun, something that set her apart from all other demons. This ability was a key point in the Demon Slayer Corps' plan to finally confront and eliminate Muzan, as he sought that same immunity to become invincible. Without her, the hunters would lose an invaluable strategic advantage. Nezuko's absence would force the Demon Slayer Corps to find a new approach to weaken Muzan. The fight, already incredibly difficult and full of sacrifices, would likely become even more brutal. Nezuko's ability to withstand the sun also helped save several lives and allowed the hunters to adjust their tactics against the upper-ranked demons. Without this advantage, the number of casualties among the hunters would be much higher, and the victory over Muzan would become far more uncertain. Furthermore, Nezuko also played an important role in Tanjiro's emotional development during this battle. Her transformation back into a human was one of the moments that pushed Tanjiro to fight harder and with more hope. Without her presence, Tanjiro would be fighting purely for revenge and possibly with less emotional control, which could impair his effectiveness as a swordsman. Another aspect to consider is the impact on the development of the final Hinokami Kagura technique. With Nezuko by his side, Tanjiro remained emotionally balanced and focused, which helped unlock new levels of power. Without her, his evolution might have been slower or even incomplete, leaving Tanjiro at a disadvantage during the crucial moment of the fight against Muzan and his generals. Nezuko's death would also have a lasting impact on how the demon world is perceived and the possibility of finding a cure for the demonic condition. In the original plot, Nezuko proves that not all demons are entirely controlled by evil, opening the door to explore a definitive cure for them. Tamayo, the doctor who works tirelessly to find this cure, used Nezuko's blood as a key piece in her research, allowing the development of an antidote. Without Nezuko, this research would be extremely limited. Tamayo would lose her main source of study, and without a demon able to resist their bloodlust, the cure for demons might never have been developed. This would not only affect the fight against Muzan, but also deny other demons like Yushiro the chance to regain their humanity, condemning them to an eternal existence as monsters. Moreover, without evidence that demons like Nezuko can control their impulses, the perception of all demons as irredeemable creatures would continue, making any attempt at coexistence between humans and demons impossible. Nezuko's death would eliminate any nuance or complexity in this conflict, turning the battle between hunters and demons into an all-out war, with no room for redemption or cure. This would result in a much more tragic and fatalistic ending for the world of Demon Slayer, where the only solution would be the complete extinction of all demons, without hope of recovery for those like Nezuko who could have been saved. If Nezuko had been eliminated in the first episode, Tanjiro's journey would have taken a dark path, driven by anger and revenge instead of hope. The Demon Slayer core would become even more rigid and ruthless, with no room for nuances or questions about the nature of demons. The final battle against Muzan would be much harder without Nezuko's immunity to the sun to give the hunters an advantage. In the end, this choice would have sealed a tragic fate for everyone. Without Nezuko, the message of redemption and hope that permeates Demon Slayer would be replaced by a more brutal conflict. With no cure for demons or chance of coexistence, the impact of a single decision would change the course of the entire story into something much darker and more desperate. And so, everyone, what did you think of this dark theory about what Demon Slayer would be like without Nezuko? Imagine how everything could have been different. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up to help the channel grow and reach more anime fans like you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. On the final screen, another Demon Slayer video will appear. See you next time.